Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, February 8th, day 8 of 4:44 a.m. with Michelle, Mornings with Michelle. And today we are going to dive in and start talking about nutrition. It is so far we've covered 3 out of the 5 foundational pieces of health. Our God time. We've talked about water, we've talked about sleep, and so today we are going to start on nutrition. I'm super excited. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is read a scripture for you that talks a little bit about food, and that is 1 Corinthians 10:31. And it says, "So whether you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it all for the glory of the Lord." So as we go through that understanding of what we are eating can sometimes be the hardest part of it all. One of the things I want to start with today is the fact that I don't believe in coincidences. I truly believe in God incidences. And that was a pastor taught me that a little while ago, that there are no coincidences. And when you truly look at the world and the things around you and the things that happen, you start to see that God's hand is in everything. So there can't be a coincidence. So one of the things that I really noticed and I loved is that the very first thing in the Bible that happens from a sin standpoint actually surrounds food. And so food struggles have literally been since the beginning of time. It's happened. And we'll look at food in the Bible a little bit over the next couple days as we dive into nutrition. So if we go to Genesis 3, it talks about the fall with Adam and Eve and the first sin that happens that essentially starts the process of separating God from the people and how God restores that relationship and goes on throughout the Bible. But if you look at it, it's a tree, and the tree has an apple, and the apple is what truly causes the fall. I think it's crazy because they had all the food they could eat. The Lord literally gave them the Garden of Eden, and they could eat anything that they wanted. And they still went after the one thing that they were not supposed to have. And it really is about making the choice. And I talked the very first day about the choices that we make and how they matter, and that we'll make a lot of them over the course of our time together. And so they really had to make that choice. The other thing that I thought was super interesting is that our bodies were made to digest food. And if you read the wording really carefully in Genesis 3, it says that they were permitted to eat. They didn't have to eat. So before the fall, before sin happened, our bodies were designed to eat, but we didn't have to eat. They were permitted to. They didn't have to. After the fall, then that's when we truly started to have to eat. And so that was one of the things that came with the sin and the fall, was the fact that our bodies changed and we now have to eat. Food really is about substance. It's about a pleasurable experience. And later in the Bible, and over the next day or two, we'll talk about the human fellowship part of food and what that looks like and what that means. So it really brings me to the question for you is, how and when are you eating? Are you, I'm guilty. Are you standing at the counter eating while you're getting ready to go run somewhere else? Are you eating, driving while you're picking something up, or eating in your car while you're driving from one place to another because our life is so busy? Or are you getting to truly sit down at a table and have food and dinner with family or friends, people around you? Are you sitting down and actually taking that time to enjoy what you're eating? I'd say a lot of us, especially during the week, we don't get to. And so it really is starting to look at not only what we're eating, but how and when and why we're eating it. And so those are a few things that I'll tee up for the next couple days as we go through this. So what I want to do next is I want to talk a little bit about the healthy lifestyle and eating. So I'm going to start with we have to understand what we're putting in our body before we can start fixing it. So The next COR5FIT challenge piece of this is that you need to start tracking your food. You need to start understanding truly what you're putting in your body. So there's a couple ways to do that. One is old-fashioned paper and pen, and you can write down what you're eating. Not only are we looking for what you're eating and how much, but we're also looking for when you're eating and how you're eating. Goes back to that, what we just talked about. There are so many different diets that are out there. There's the Mediterranean diet, the paleo diet. You've got the 21-day fix that kind of helps you put food together. You've got the Atkins diet. I mean, they're all out there. The biggest thing about them is they're all diets. And diets are very good for a specific reason and a purpose. They are not meant to be maintained long-term as a lifestyle. So as we're tracking the food that we eat and starting to learn those portions, what we're eating, when we're eating them, how we're eating them, and why, we'll start to notice different patterns. One of the patterns, and I kind of talked about it earlier in one of the other lives, was that about 2 o'clock every day, I get hungry, I'm tired. I found this pattern in my life where there's a 2 o'clock hole. And if I don't have something planned there, there's no telling what I'm going to eat. So at 2 o'clock on most days, I end up having my 2 Oreos and either a Diet Coke or something like that, something zero calorie with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of caffeine. It's the only Coke that I have during the day, and it's something that I enjoy. And so that's what I do when I'm in that slump at 2 o'clock. That's what I do. But if I didn't do that, what would I do? There's no telling what I'd go find and eat and put in my body that I wasn't expecting. So it's about learning the patterns and learning what we like and don't like, and making it fit into a plan that is sustainable. Another option would be MyFitnessPal. That's where I keep all my food. It helps me log exactly the portions that I'm eating. I can put the food in there and it will help me calculate the calories, the protein grams, the fat content, and the carbs that I'm eating, as well as additional information depending on what you pull up. So that really is what the next section of tracking would be. One of the other things too is it doesn't just include food. It also includes some of the things you drink. If you look at the calorie content in just Cokes, in the real sugary coffees, because a lot of the creamers, even things that we don't expect, like salads. Salads can have dressings that fully can be almost your entire calorie allotment for the day if you put in fried chicken on top of it, etc. So there's a lot of things that we really got to start paying attention to. I know one person that didn't realize that they were eating their entire calorie allotment by drinking Coke throughout the day. And so when you start to truly look at the things you're putting in your body, you realize, no wonder I'm gaining weight. No wonder I'm not feeling optimal. No wonder I don't have the motivation to do the things that I want to do. So it really is about going through and tracking that. So like I said, over the next couple of days, we'll talk about more of what you do with this information, but truly the goal is to start tracking. So action points for today: grab a pen and paper and start journaling what you're eating and drinking. Download MyFitnessPal. There's a free version. You don't have to pay for it, and it will help you log and track your food and the calories and the associates. Tomorrow we'll talk about portions, which will help make that more accurate. And then don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can make sure you're getting the most up-to-date information, as well as like it. And if you find this information valuable and are having conversations with other people, please send this link to somebody else that can benefit from the information. Lastly, really, I'd like to know more about what you guys would like. So if you could put in the comments what else you would like to hear about, I will add it into these lives. Love to interact with you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow.